Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another IELTS journey with Fabi, where we talk about everything and anything IELTS. How are you today? How are you today? This is another warm up for the workshop IELTS Booster. Okay, so the IELTS Booster will happen. We start next Monday, 1 week to go. No, less than a week to go. 6 days to go, huh? And hello, Jimena, how are you? Some people are saying hello. Um, so yes, it's gonna start next week. Okay, so in this workshop, I will tell you everything and anything you need to know about how to start studying, practicing for the IELTS test. I'm gonna tell you some mistakes my students make. I will tell you how to fix the mistakes. I will tell you how the test works. I will give you some strategies. It's gonna be amazing. And it's free, guys, 100% free. So if you're interested in the workshop, you can, if you're watching me on YouTube, the link to join will be in the description of this video. If you're watching me on Instagram, you can go ahead and type join in the comments here, or just go to my link in the bio. All right. And today we're going to talk about listening. And as usual, I will be using YouTube more than Instagram. So, what I'd like you to do, guys, is if you can, just head to YouTube. Yeah, so I just sent the link here. Okay, so if you're watching me on Instagram, click on that link and head to YouTube because I'm going to share my screen. And if you're watching me on Instagram, you won't be able to see my screen. And I have something special for you today. So, today, guys, we're going to talk about listening. Okay, and why students struggle so much with listening. Okay, why do students struggle so much with listening? If you have problems with listening, can you just say me? Type it in the comments. Do you have problems with listening? Lots of people do. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Fabi. I'm an English teacher and I help people prove their English level so they can apply for opportunities abroad. Would you like to study abroad? You need to prove your English. Would you like to work abroad? You need to prove your English. Would you like to get a permanent residency in Canada, Australia? You need to prove your English. All right. So that's why I'm here to help you with that. Goody, goody. All right. Cool. So let's get started. So lots of people struggle with listening. And if you have joined the IELTS Booster workshop, you know that I ask a favor of you. When you joined the IELTS Booster workshop, you get a message from me asking you to answer some questions just so I can get to know you better. Okay. And I read those 100%. And a lot of people say, when I ask them, I ask them, have you ever taken the test? They say no. And then I ask them, okay, you've never taken the test. So if you've never taken the test, you don't know yet what a test would be like for you. So my question is, what is the hardest part of the test for you? And they say, what do you think they say, guys? When I ask people who have never done the test, what's the hardest part of the test? What do you think they say? You can type it in the comments. What do they say? Listening. No, they don't say writing. They say listening. So most people who have never done the test think that the listening is the hardest part of the test, which is not. To me, from my experience, listening is the easiest part of the test. Wow, surprised? Don't be. Because listening is actually quite simple. Okay. And then once you start doing the IELTS test, you notice that the hardest part is probably writing. Some people think it's reading. But we talked about that last week. I have a live, so we did a live on Saturday morning which was Friday night if you're in the Americas, about writing. Very good one. Okay, guys. So when we're finished here, go to YouTube and look it up. Okay. So listening. Okay. So a lot of people think that listening is quite hard. And I'm going to tell you why you might be thinking that and some things you can do to improve that feeling. Okay. And I have a surprise for you at the end. Just be ready. Okay. Be ready, maybe with a piece of paper. All right. Cool. So, um, oh my God. So 1 second, guys. Hmm. Okay. So I have my notes here. Okay, I have my notes here, and it told me that my notes disappeared, but they are back. Yeah, they're back. Good. All right, good. So let me start. So, first thing I'd like to talk to you about, people struggle with listening. People have problems with listening because they get lost during the audio. Is that you? If you get lost during the audio, you can type me in the chat there. Okay. So, people get lost. Mm, so when people get, it's common for you to get lost. Okay, guys, it's common. It happens sometimes, not all the time. And there are lots of strategies you can use. Okay. But most people get lost because the audio is quite fast. All right. Or maybe just imagine, just imagine yourself doing the IELTS test. Okay, you're doing the test, so you're listening and taking notes, trying to answer. And then while you're doing that, sometimes you miss one question. And then what is the mistake a lot of people make? You miss one question, and then what do? Keep thinking about it and you don't move on. So just think about it. Just the fact that you got lost once for one question might mean that you get lost for the other ones too. But you shouldn't. Okay, you should not. Okay, so if you feel that the listening is too fast, there are things you can do to improve that. Okay, but that's one problem a lot of people have. Cool. Another problem that might help no, that might cause problems to people is spelling. How many of you have problem with spelling? Yesterday I got a message from a person who needs to do the IELTS test as soon as possible. Surprise, surprise. So, guys, as you know, I get messages from people every day saying, Fabi, I need you to do the test next week. Can you help me? Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. That's why I'm here right now, guys. Should tell you that if you want to do the test, do it as soon as start practicing as soon as possible. So this person texted me and said, I've never done the test, but I'm really worried about my spelling. And then he said, and I know I need spelling for writing and for listening. Yeah. So some people are worried about the listening because of the spelling. Okay. Another reason is people get lost in the questions. They don't know what to do. Have you ever gotten lost? You're practicing for the IELTS test. You look at the question, you don't know what to do. Hmm. That takes me to something, guys. I you know that if my students ask me, Fabi, should I do the test on the computer or on paper? I will say do it on the computer. But what has been happening, guys, and I'm going to tell you this right now so you can prepare yourselves, okay? What is happening quite often is that the people who have been practicing for the IELTS test, there aren't a lot of real proper practice IELTS tests on the computer online. There aren't many. I have a few that I use with my students, but there are many. And most of them are very bad. Okay. I've tried them all. So most people who are going to do the test in the computer don't really have the time to practice or the opportunity to practice doing the test on the computer. My students do because I have some specific websites. I tell them, and again, I recommend specific things for specific students. Okay. But the problem with not being able to practice in advance is that on the day of the real test, some people get lost because it's really fast. They can be fast. Okay, so if you're going to do the IELTS, guys, make sure you take the time to see what the test is like on the computer, especially for listening. Because I had students that we were practicing. That was back when the test on the computer started. They were practicing on paper, and then when they did the real test, they had some problems because they got lost. And I heard from a lot of people that. Okay, so if you're going to nowadays, we have more materials online that we can use, but be careful with the materials. Be very careful. Okay, but it's a good idea to at least look it up. There are IDP, which is a place here where you can do the test. They have some very good videos explaining the test on the computer. Okay, so if you go to YouTube, IDP, IELTS computer, you see the videos. They're very good. They explain a lot. Okay, because there are instructions there and all of that. Okay, there are instructions, but sometimes people get a little bit lost. Okay, and that's totally fine. That happens. Okay, so just make sure you are prepared before the test so you don't get lost on the day of the test. Okay, and a lot of people get distracted. Yeah, our lives now, right? We get so distracted. But again, there are things you can do. I always tell my students, to pay attention to certain things so you don't get distracted. Okay. And the biggest problem, is, again, you go there, you do the test, and you get really lost. So what happens? Probably because you haven't practiced before. All right, guys. So not practicing before will make you really, really, really lost too. All right. So someone's saying hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right. Okay. So now we talked about the problems, right? I told you a few things you can do to improve, but let's also talk about now some things you can do, other things you can do, because I've already told you a few things you can do. Okay. And if you have questions, you can pop the questions in. And if you're watching me on YouTube, if you click on if you're watching me on Instagram, click on the link so you can go to YouTube and you can watch me there. Okay. Because I'm going to share the screen later. Okay. So, things you can do to improve your listening skills for the IELTS test. So, the listening is not a problem for you anymore. One thing you can do is practice active listening. Mm-hmm. Practice active listening. So, what is active listening? So, you go and you just listen to things. Okay, so for example, I have a lot of students that they say, "Oh, Fabi, I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that." Okay, cool. But sometimes, guys, just listening is not enough. We have to understand. So, what I tell my students to do, um, sometimes I tell them to get a topic that they like. Sometimes I tell them to get a topic that they don't like. So does anybody know why is it important to also practice with topics that you don't like? Any ideas why? On the IELTS test, there will be a variety of topics, and some of them you will not like. And it is harder for us to pay attention to things we don't like. All right. So I tell them, think about a topic that you find difficult. Listen to it. And I always tell my students to take some notes. Because again, what I hear a lot is, Fabi, I understand the listening. Fabi, I know what they are saying, but I can't answer the question. Okay, that's why we have the strategies for each type of question, right? But then when you are listening to something, just listening, maybe you should take some notes so that will help you understand it better and do something with what you're listening, which is exactly what the IELTS test is about. All right. Okay. Then, um, this mistake is actually for people who I think who have never done the test or people who are studying by themselves. Usually, when I get students who have been studying by themselves, they don't know this strategy, which is read the questions before you listen. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people who are practicing by themselves or are just starting to practice for the IELTS test, when you press play and you start practicing, before you answer the questions, you have some time to look at the questions. Some people, they don't do anything with it. They don't do anything. They just go and they go and they go, oh my God. Like they have 30 seconds to look at the questions and they don't. Okay, so that's something that will cost you lots of points. So you have to do that. You have to prepare. You have to look at the questions and know. And that's why it's so important to know all the types of questions too. Okay, then I have here follow keywords. Yeah. Most people get lost because they can't quite follow the listening, right? They can't quite follow the listening. This happens quite often in which part of the listening? If you have been practicing for the IELTS test, you know which part people get lost, which is part 4. So IELTS listening part 4 is one person talk, 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 talk. And then what happens is you get lost. So what should you do? You should actually pay attention to keywords that they say that will help you understand that they are changing the topic. For example, another thing is, they changed. One more question. Another question. Now, I'd like to talk about change the topic. So all of these small things, we actually in my course, I do a lot of that with my students. We pay attention to these things because that will help you get a higher score in the listening part of the IELTS test. Okay, another one that people hate. Practice spelling. Practice spelling. Yeah. In my course, I have a whole module just for spelling for my students. Okay. I have one of those. And that might cost people a 7. My students are funny. They always come to me after they finish a listening test. They go to me, Fabi, my final score is 6.5. Your final score? Yes, my final score is 6.5. But if I ignore the spelling mistakes, it's a 7. They're funny that way, my students. They always say that, oh, Fabi, if I didn't have the spelling mistakes, it would be a 7. And they smile. And then I go, now, how many mistakes? 3, 6.5. Oh. So one thing I tell them is always, 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 guys, go ahead and practice the words you got wrong. So if you're practicing for the IELTS test, if you're making mistakes, make sure you practice those words because you don't want to make the same mistake more than once. All right, never, never, never. Okay, so that's a good one too. Another one is vocabulary. Okay, pay attention to the vocabulary, specific topics. Okay, I always say just go ahead, think about the reading part, get the topics from there, and expand your vocabulary. Okay, and that goes back to the first advice I gave you: listen to different things. Okay, TED Talks, amazing. TED Talks is good. BBC Learning English is good. 6 Minute English is good. All right. And those places there, they are quite specific, and they have some activities too that you can try. Goody goody. Okay, one more. Yeah, don't panic if you miss a question. Like I said earlier today, lots of times what happens is you're doing the test, you miss one, and then you go to the next one. I mean, and you stay there thinking about it, and you don't go to the next one. I have a student, she did the test recently, and unfortunately she didn't do that well. And she did the listening part first. Okay, real test, listening part first. Sorry. And then, uh, as soon as she finished the listening test, she said, "Oh my God, I made this mistake and that mistake." And she kept thinking about those mistakes. And then she started the reading test. She said that she couldn't concentrate. She couldn't read because she kept thinking about the mistakes she had made in the listening part. That's not good. Okay, that's not good. Guys, if you made a mistake, move on. Go, 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 go. And then I have another student who did the test about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And she said that she missed two in part one. Part one is the easiest part. And she said, "Fabi, I'm sure I got those wrong. But then I remembered what you said. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't think about it. Go, 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 go." And she got 6.5. She needed five. Yes, she needed five. And she got 6.5 in listening. So that was pretty good. That was a very good strategy. She's like, "Fabi, I could remember you in my head saying, keep going, keep going." And then she got a really high score, which was pretty, pretty cool. She got her five. Yeah, she needed five overall. She got 6.5. I think she got eight in reading. It was amazing. It was so good. Oh my God, so good. She did really well. She studied really hard. Really hard. Same message every day. "Fabi, what do I do today? Fabi, I got this. Fabi, check my writing. Yeah, let's do a speaking test." Yeah, she did really well, really well. And yeah, so guys, again, the best thing you can do to practice, to know what you have to do, is also to study under exam conditions. Do the real test. Do the real test. I mean, authentic. Okay, try authentic tests. Okay, don't try anything that you can find online. Go to specific places. Use the right book. IELTS is the best book. IELTS, Cambridge IELTS, this one that you can see here, is the best one. British Council website. I've been recommending the British Council website for a lot of people. It's a great way to start real tests, because if you do a test that is not authentic and you get a high score on the day of the real test, you might get a lower score. So be very, very careful with that. Okay, cool. Now, oh, if you haven't joined the workshop IELTS Booster yet, go for it. It's free, guys. It's free. And I'll tell you everything you need to know. First steps for the IELTS test. Even if you have done the test, if you are stuck, I am sure that in this workshop, you will see things that will go open your mind. Okay, if you haven't done the test, the workshop is for you. Is for you. If you have done the test but haven't got the score you desire, the workshop is for you too. It's 100% online, 100% free. Not to pay anything for it. People have been asked, "Fabi, how much is it?" It's free, guys. It's free. So if you're watching me on YouTube, the link will be in the description. If you're watching me on Instagram, just type "join" in the comments or go to the link in the bio. All right. Okay. So, do you have a piece of paper with you and a pen? Piece of paper and a pen to get ready, huh? Let's get ready. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Here. Okay. Have a look. Here I have, guys, if you're watching me on Instagram, you have to go to YouTube. The link is in the description here, the comments here is at the top. So as you can see here, I have some questions for you. I'm going to read, okay, I'm going to read a short passage. And I would like you to answer these questions. Are you ready? Are you ready? Read the questions. I'll give you some time to read. Okay. If this was the real test and you had this in a piece of paper, okay, or the real test in the computer, I would recommend you highlight some key words. So I would recommend where, meeting, place, which day, name, activity, children. So while I read the listening for you, for me it's gonna be reading, for you it's gonna be listening. Okay, you will. I would like you to answer these questions. I'm gonna read once, like the real IELTS test. Okay, and then you can write your answer. And then I'm just gonna read again just to make sure you got it. Okay, but of course, if you really want to know your IELTS score, go with the answer that you had first. Okay, and then if you want to, if you just want to know your general score, not ready for the IELTS, then you can go with the second time I read. Are you ready? Let's go. The meeting will take place at the community center at again. The meeting will take place at the community center on Saturday at 3 p.m. There will be activities for children, including face painting and magic show. Okay, now one more time. The meeting will take place at the community center on Saturday at 3 p.m. There will be activities for children, including face painting and a magic show. Okay. Now, when you're ready, you can write the answers in the comments when you're ready. You can write the answers in the comments. Answer for question number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay. Type the answers in the comments. I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay. Okay, some answers there. So we have 1, community center. 2, Saturday. 3, no answer. Okay. Okay, Paola has community center. Okay, let's give some time for people to type, guys. Anybody on Instagram? No, you don't have the questions, right? Okay. And guys, if you're watching me on Instagram, you can watch it later. Okay, you can go to YouTube later. Okay. Okay. All right. Just give one more minute for everyone to type their answers. Let me see one more here. Okay. All right. Okay, give people one more minute so I can tell everyone the answer. There's a delay. You know there's a delay. Okay. While people are still typing, I'm going to remind you about the workshop. IELTS Booster. Okay. The link will be below. Okay. So in the description. So you can go ahead, click on the description, join the workshop. It starts on Monday. Okay. Monday. I just finished the 3rd lesson yesterday. It's so cool. So cool. Every time I record those lessons, I go, oh my God, it's so much good information here. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna share my screen to write the answers for you. Okay. No, maybe I have like no, I have to write the answers for you. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay. Where is it? Not here. Okay, one second. Cool here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. Okay. There. Goody goody. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, can I see the comments while I do this? Yes, I can. Let me see what you can see. No. I just want to see the comments while I do this, but I can't see the comments. That's okay. All right. So I'm going to write the answers for you here. Actually, I'm going to write the answers in the chat. No. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. Sorry, guys. Just trying to figure out because I wanted to see this and see the chat because I can't see the chat when I, but it's okay. All right. So where will the meeting take place? So the focus is where. Okay. So we're going to focus on where, huh? Where, right? Where. So if you said community center, it's correct. Community double N center. Fabi, can I write center? Yes, you can. This is American and this is British. Both are correct. The arts people know that, okay, guys? They're not going to penalize you. Don't worry, okay? On which day? Day, if you wrote Saturday, it's correct. Saturday. Saturday. Okay. And name one activity, just one. If you had face painting, it's correct. Or if you had magic show, it's also correct. Yay. Okay. So let me see if I can do something here for you. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Let me try. Let me see. Ta-da. Can I do this? Perfect. Okay, guys. So this is the listening I read for you. Have a look. Have a look. So, for example, meeting take place, community center, community center. When? Saturday, Saturday. Activities for the children, face painting, magic show, face painting, magic show. Ta-da! That's what I do with my students. All the time, all the time. Okay, guys, and that's the best way to improve your IELTS listening. Okay, best way. Go back to the comments. How you feeling, guys? So let me see. Community center Saturday. Community center painting show. Face painting magic show. Okay, that's not correct. Center Saturday 3 p.m. Yeah. So when you could say the question was on which day. So you don't put the time, guys. Let me share my screen again with you. Okay. So when we see, where is it? Okay, when we, let me show you. Okay. The question was which day, not time. So we put the day, not the time. If you put the time, your answer is incorrect, unfortunately. Goody, goody. Okay, what else? Then Saturday Magic Show. Cool. You guys did well. Well done. Well done. Yes, it's just a simple activity. Can you see, guys? Just something so simple that you can do, and just with this simple thing, I could give you strategies. Wow, how cool is that, huh? It is so cool. So cool. All right. So I'm going to go now. But now, at least you practiced a little bit of listening today. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure what the topics for tomorrow yet. I don't think I thought about it yet. However, if you're ready, join the workshop. There will be so much more in the workshop. It's going to be amazing. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. If you want to get in touch with me, best way, message on Instagram. Okay, that's the best way to get in touch with me. Okay, sometimes it takes me a while to answer because sometimes I don't get a notification, but I keep checking every day. All right. Okay, so I will go now and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.